Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Yet another week of the hottest post-Raw show on the planet. It is the Legion of Raw with former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, former WWE head writer. All the Raws, or at least most of the Raws that you saw in the late 90s was written by this guy right here, Vince Russo. How are you, my man?
I'm doing good, Chris. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Chris, I as I watch our clips throughout the week on social media,
yeah,
I just hope Raju and crew don't get hot at me for all of the things that I say.
I haven't heard anything from the execs when it comes to that.
Yeah, because I really do wish. Man, for me and my taste, I do wish there were things for me to talk about and things for me to be positive about. I think I put over certain talents. I say all the time, man, the talents don't write the show. They're not involved in the creative. I think they could speak up more.
Yeah.
If they don't like something or if they don't agree to something. But, I think I put over share of talents I like. But it's for the type of television I enjoy, there's nothing on here that is enjoyable to me. I mean, that's just the God's honest truth. I mean, looking at tonight's show, bro, I mean, again, you got the three matches, you got the three ways. Rollins is going over. There was heavy speculation that Brock was going to screw Cody. It's like you these things going in. You knew they're going to spend 20 minutes on the main event at the end, and the wrestling purists are going to go nuts because it's going to be a 5-star match between Finn. How many 5-star matches can you watch? Like Seth is going over, so you're literally sitting there for 20 minutes just waiting to see the obvious. Yeah. I don't know how I'm supposed to put that over.
Well, I mean, hey, man, we get paid to speak how we feel about this show. So, I mean, it's not about you trying to appease a crowd that's not really this crowd. This crowd agrees with most of the things that we say, especially specifically a live crowd. I'm not sure about the archive crowd or anything like that, but we have a live crowd every week, Vince, who most of the people who join us live agree with what we're saying. And I keep saying, Vince, to your point, I'm a therapist, so I'm a very positive person. My wife would tell you, my wife, she'll attest I'm the most positive person she know. I'm very optimistic. I'm very positive. I'm a pro wrestling critic because I grew up watching pro wrestling. I've been watching pro wrestling for 35 years now. About 36 or 37 years now. And I've seen such a transition where I fell in love with pro wrestling because it was a comic book come to life. I fell in love with pro wrestling because it was good versus evil. I was a little kid. It was good guy versus bad guy, hero versus villain. And for the most part, man, we're long gone from that. And it's disappointing to me. It really is. I had a conversation. I was thinking about this, Vince. And I was like, if there was one word to me personally, I'm someone who's been a fan since 86, 85, 86, really. If there's one word that would describe my feelings toward professional wrestling nowadays, my personal word would be disappointing.
Mine too, bro. I swear to God, that would be my word. No doubt. I knew you were going to say that because I was thinking and feeling the same exact thing. Chris, it's funny, bro, because you and I have a lot of the same interests. We like a lot of the same things. Bro, this is why 1976, 50 years ago, 45 years ago, whatever the heck it was, this is why a very young Sylvester Stallone was so brilliant and he got it. Rocky didn't go over, bro.
Right.
Do you know how easy it would have been for him to put Rocky over? Rocky did not go over. And it's kind of weird, bro, because this is what's weird about them. They're kind of trying to tell the same story with Cody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, didn't get the job done, you know, against Roman Reigns, just fell short. And now he gets screwed out of the world championship. But in between those two things, he beats Brock
Lesnar. I was thinking the same exact thing.
No, bro, no, it don't work.
Exactly.
That's not how it works, bro. It don't work that.
Yeah.
And again, Chris, what it all always comes down to is storytelling. Bro, if Rocky would have went over in that first movie, you would not have had 30 years of Rocky Balboa. It would have been done. It was over. It was done. There was nothing else to talk about.
Yeah.
But that was the brilliance of the writer of that script.
Yeah. And there wouldn't have been a Rocky 2 because Rocky 2 was about his rematch against Apollo Creed. And Apollo Creed turned babyface Rocky 2, and they became really good friends. And so, you know, and then 3 comes, and then Ivan Drago, you know, takes out Apollo Creed, so now there's more buy-in for Rocky to defeat Ivan Drago. You know what I mean? Right. So there's it all just kind of bridges itself into the next Rocky, and that's the reason why the Rocky series was so good, because it was one big story, man. And I appreciate that.
And think about that too, as you break down the Rocky. Remember, bro, in Rocky 2, ain't gonna be no rematch, don't want one. Remember all that, and remember the Italian chicken. Remember we had a goat. Bro, look how every match was made on this show. Every match was made on this show. Literally, there's nothing booked for 3 hours. Thank God we bump into each other in the back and we challenge each other. Bro, that's a joke. When that is the extent of your creativity, that is a joke. When people want to tell me what a genius Triple H is, bro, you had an entire show booked by people bumping into each other. The Imperium walks in on, Owens and Sammy. Then you had Dominic and Xavier Woods. Then you had Nikki Cross. The entire show is put together by people literally bumping into each other backstage and making matches. You're going to tell me that's good television?
It's not a continual story again. And I must say, I think Rocky 4 was Drago, right?
Yeah, Rocky
3 was
Clubber Lang. Yeah.
And, Thunder Lips was 3, right?
Yeah.
Hogan, yeah. So it was about his title run. So yeah, Rocky 4 comes in, and then Apollo Creed gets taken out, unfortunately. If he dies, he dies, right?
Yes.
That was Ivan Drago. Something that I noticed, Vince, before we go, we got some super chats coming in as always. We have the best fans on the land. Let me give you a string of losers here, unfortunately. Shinsuke Nakamura, Imperium. Let's see. We have Shinsuke Nakamura, Imperium, and Xavier Woods. All 3 of those people lost. What was the what's the common denominator?
Their first night on Raw.
Their first night on Raw.
Absolutely, Chris. I was saying the same again, Chris, you got to go back to, because we know, bro, is that the testing? We're going to test them to see if they'll be able to lose their first night out on Raw. You beat these people on their first night out at Raw. I'm sitting here saying, why am I watching them?
Yeah.
Why am I watching them, bro?
But the NXT person, Zoe Stark, she beats Nikki Cross just out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Just, hey, another one. Hey, see, look, she's over here. Let me challenge her to a match and beat her. You know what I mean? It's just, where are we going from here? All right, so let's get these super chats, man. We have the best fans in the land. This live Raw crowd. See, as a matter of fact, the live leads in a Raw crowd are just continuously amazing. Help the algorithms with this show continuing to go and grow by commenting on the show post show too, because those comments really helps those algorithms too. We appreciate your likes, your shares, your subscribes, and your comments on the. So here's the thing, Vince and I, we don't care if you disagree with us. We just want you to comment because
Oh yeah, no, you could disagree all night long, bro. I'm not that guy. I don't expect you to see things my way. If you guys love this show, that's great. I'm sure I love many things you guys would think I'm absolutely nuts and out of my mind. That's fine, man. I love to hear your comments either way. I love when people explain things to me, like, what is it about this show that you really enjoy? That's
that
interesting to me, bro.
I agree. I like conversations like that too. I mean, just civil disagreement. I think it's healthy for the soul. Because at the end of the day, like ad hominems and just personal shots, those are people who are just mad at miserable at life, and so I don't entertain that stuff. But when it comes to disagreements, I like that. That's fun, man, because I'm a huge Ohio State fan, and a lot of people disagree with Ohio State because Ohio State's a very popular team. I'm a big Duke fan, college basketball. That even makes me a bigger heel in most spaces because a lot of times people view Duke as they view like the New York Yankees. You know what I mean? Like a franchise that's always good and stuff like that. So, hey, it's a part of sports, man. It's a part of sports. Good, it's good, clean fun, whether you agree or not. All right, let's start off with Seth Rollins defeating Damian Priest and Shinsuke Nakamura, World Heavyweight Champion, first round. Your thoughts on this match, Vince?
Bro, before we even get into that again, bro, this is what I'm taught. And again, man, Bonnie Hammer, who was a brilliant executive at the USA Network. And of course, she climbed the ladder. You guys can Google Bonnie Hammer and see what this woman has accomplished in her career. And every time she would speak to me or talk to me, I took it as gold, bro, because she knew television. And what's the first thing Bonnie Hammer used to tell me all the time? Action. Action. You got to open with action. You got to open with a bang. That's why, guys, if you go back and watch the Attitude Era, with every in-ring, there was action. 95% of the time, something happened in the opening in-ring. Bro, the reason why I'm pointing this out, Chris, we are 7.5, 8 minutes into this show before Cody Rhodes speaks a word.
Yeah.
No, bro, that's not how you hook people. You know what that is, bro? That's we just stayed 8 minutes and nobody even said a word. That is against, bro, every single thing I was taught to write successful television. 8 minutes in before Cody Rhodes says, wherever we are, what do you want to talk about? 8 minutes into the show, bro.
Yeah. Here's my question for you, Vince, when it comes to that. And we'll get to the super chats here in a minute. With WWE, with these mega deals and things like that, do you think that they're coasting and just kind of swinging on the hammock of just that, being a cash cow with these deals instead of really focusing on the urgency to retain the viewer? Do you think they even really care about them changing the channel at this point?
Not at all, bro. Absolutely not at all. With the deals they have, with the the streaming service deal, they're going to get television rights. Content is king, bro. And one thing they have is content. Now, the content has not been good for a long period of time. Bro, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Content is king. And look at what we can get from the WWE. 50 years of content. Bro, they can name their price. So whether it's a good show, a bad show, a house show, it doesn't matter. And like that is my point. And that's why people like us have left, because it should matter, bro. You know why it should matter, bro? Because you owe it to those who love the style going all the way back to the WWF.
Yeah.
You owe it to those people, bro.
I agree.
And and that's the thing, bro. You know, you've got your people that still watch, but it's a fraction of what it used to be.
Yeah, and along those lines, Vince, it's like SmackDown gets about 500,000 more viewers than Raw does, but Raw makes more money still because of that third hour of ad revenue. So,
Yeah.
you know, at the end of the day, you know, SmackDown usually gets about 2.3, Raw usually gets about 1.8. I mean, of course, that fluctuates, but that's usually the averages. But I mean, Raw still makes more money, so they're going to keep that third hour, regardless of how redundant and just, you know, boring a lot of times and lifeless, you know, it is. They're still going to maintain that third hour because it's pulling in the money, man. So we will continue to see that regardless of how we feel about it or not. Joseph Gonzalez 499 super chat, bro. After tonight, both women's titles are still in the opposite brands. What are WWE thinking? Did they forget this is still an issue? And what do you think about Rhea Ripley still being called the SmackDown Women's Champion?
Bro, I'm so confused. I you know, so Bianca Belair is gone. Is she gone now? She's on the other show.
She's on SmackDown.
So they were supposed to flip titles.
Theoretically, they were supposed to swap titles. I mean, they did that in previous drafts, but they haven't yet.
Bro, I'm so confused with this. And here's something else I'm confused about. Bro, before we even get to this, you know, Rollins going over in a very predictable match, you know, that we beat Nakamura his first time out. Bro, I still cannot. I am sorry, bro. I don't care that we were in his hometown. I don't care that there were 35,000 people there. I don't care. I still cannot believe Bad Bunny beat Damian Priest. Like that blows my mind. That unless they got Bad Bunny under contract to appear on 12 big shows every year. Okay, that blows my mind. But Chris, we talk about this all the time, and I love having these conversations with you because you are a psychologist, and people think I'm nuts. Bro, Cody cuts heel promos.
Yeah.
So he either knows what he's doing and he's setting himself to be a heel, or he has no clue what he's saying is a heelish thing. Here's my perfect case in point. He beat Brock Lesnar, and he is now claiming in his own words, Brock Lesnar is in the rearview mirror now. Bro, that would be a heel saying that about a baby face, and then the baby face comes out and attacks him, and the feud continues.
To your point, Damian Priest said the same thing about Bad Bunny. He basically said he was in the rearview mirror.
You've got the baby face saying the heel is in the rearview mirror. Then the heel makes you look like an idiot as the baby face, because obviously he's not in the rearview mirror. It's supposed to work the other way around, bro.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
I agree with you. And again, Vince, you know how I am about those nuances, and I love those nuances because I think that those things, it's pieces to the puzzle that are very important to put together. Because if you're not addressing those nuances, you're just having a bunch of patches in the puzzle, and it's very important, man. You have to do stuff like that, because if you're still going from the template and the foundation of Wrestling 101, traditional baby, traditional heel, of course that's nuanced too when it comes to like an Austin style Rebel type of, you know, just not the white meat baby face, so to speak, not a Steamboat style baby face. There's still a lot of baby faces that are like that too, and that's cool. But if it's still the story of the people are rallying behind this person, and then they're going through a lot of ebbs and flows to reach the end, which is Pro Wrestling 101, you have to pay attention to those nuances, man, because at the end of the day, you're trying to build up the characters in order for the big moment to happen. And those nuances, by, you know, Cody saying something like, you know, in the rearview mirror, if the focus is to make him be the chaser, how is he chasing by saying someone's in the rearview mirror? That's not a chase.
Yeah, and not only that, Chris, if Brock Lesnar is in his rearview mirror, then isn't he the baby face in Roman Reigns' rearview mirror?
Precisely.
Bro, these words mean something. It's like, Chris, I can't tell you how important nuances were to Vince McMahon when I was sitting in his freaking house, and nuances were everything, and we talked about them. Now, bro, when you look at this stuff collectively, it's like you said, a patch here, a patch. Somebody says something here, somebody says something there. Nobody knows what the other guy is saying, and then television viewers are walking away from this like, wait a minute, that's not supposed to go that way.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, very true. Next we have Nazir $4.99.
Chris, I lost your audio.
Yeah, I know. I'll push mute.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Vince. Come
on. Wow, very nice. Wow, nuance, baby. Very nice. Wait a minute, bro. I'm checking my wire. Did I kick my wire with my feet here? All right, very nice.
Yes, indeed. Awesome sauce, $2.20. No Rocky sequels there. May not even be a Mania. What do you got there, Vince?
Did WrestleMania followed Rocky 3, correct?
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. But there would have never been Hulk Hogan to the heights. Yeah. He's got a good point there, bro. You never know, man.
Good point. Let's see. Next we have let's keep going down here. All right, we got Ty Salter's $10 super chat, bro. 2 questions. If you're on the Paul Bros podcast, what would you say? And would you completely reset Miz and Maurice characters or tell Endeavor to pay off their contracts so you can fire them? Paul Bros podcast. Are you familiar with that?
I am not. No,
I am not too. Ty, if you can let us know what the Paul Bros podcast is. I don't know what that is either. So let's address question number 2. Miz and Maurice, what do you think? Because I know that you created a nickname for the Miz, and that nickname is the Channel Changer.
Oh, yeah.
So what would you do with Miz and Maurice?
Completely reset. They can be reset. First of all, Maurice is and I've said this all the time, she is a naturally beautiful woman. Facial. She is a stunning woman. Here's the problem, Ty. They have their Miz and Mrs. and their baby faces. They're likable people. So why are they heels on the show? Does that make any sense to anybody? We're watching Miz and Mrs. and they're likable and they're parents, and we got kids and we got mother-in-laws, and we get into that whole aspect. And then all of a sudden on the TV show, they're 2 completely different people. Why would you do that, bro? Yeah. Does that make any sense to anybody? Why would you do that? So if it were me, I would 1,000% completely reset them. They know what they're doing. They are pros. They got over a decade of experience on television. They're in the wrong roles, bro.
Yeah. Makes sense, especially since it's on USA. It's on the same network, so it makes it even more confusing. Mike Dowling, $20 super chat, bro. I've been a fan since '79. I don't watch anything else on TV. It's really getting hard to keep watching it. I'd rather watch you guys and get the results. It's more interesting. Thank you, Mike, for your constant support, man. We really appreciate you, Mike. And people like you make this show go around. Good stuff. All right, let's get into the next segment. We've got Imperium and Sami Zayn defeating Kevin. They're wanting to defeat Kevin Owens. They're giving the ring general some type of forecast and some type of prelude and some type of hype. And somehow what you do is you say, okay. So what we'll do is we'll hype up Gunther coming next week, but it goes to show that his boys are nothing without him. So, what are we? Why was that even a segment, Vince?
Bro, the way they were setting that up, okay, Chris? Did you not think Gunther was going to come out and lay the both of those guys out? That's exactly what they. But no, bro, he really wasn't coming this week, bro. I'm like, okay, so your debut on Raw, you get squashed, and what? Gunther's going to come next week and he's going to yell at you guys. Oh, that's riveting television.
That's riveting. That's
riveting.
Speaking of riveting, your boy,
bro,
Mustafa Ali.
Bro, anybody can go back if you're one of the lucky ones who recorded this so you could watch it again. Bro, there's zero reaction when this dude goes over. There's no watch the crowd. There is zero react. I don't know what bro. I don't know if this is a rib on him. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, the biggest reaction was the back and forth, between Maxine and Chad Gable with Otis. That was the Jacksonville. I don't know how much I don't know if you saw any highlights of Backlash. Puerto Rico, man, the crowd was incredible.
Oh yeah, I saw. Absolutely. Yeah,
the crowd was incredible. So to go from this past weekend with Puerto Rico to this virtually lifeless crowd with Jacksonville and over a span of a couple of days, it just goes to show either one, Americans are spoiled, or the content that Americans are watching are so lame and lifeless that we just don't even care anymore. And Puerto Rico, since they don't have that type of coming, since they don't always come to Puerto Rico, it is a special attraction. I think that they're just happy to be a part of WWE when it comes to coming to an event live. You know what I mean? Because it's not, they were talking about the first time in like 18 or so years they had a PLE there. I think it was New Year's Revolution, if I'm not mistaken, when Edge won the title. And so that was a long time ago. And so for Puerto Rico to have this event, they're hyped. They're excited. They've got that crowd. And I think the American crowd is just like, like that's how it's going.
Bro, this Ali, to me, it is so reminiscent of what they did with Nikki Cross. The superhero thing came from Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, yeah, great. Go out and do the superhero thing, and we'll just let it die on the vine, and then we'll tell you how you couldn't get it over. This is so reminiscent of this. Like Ali went to them with, this positively Page gimmick. Oh yeah, bro, that sounds terrific. Go out there, nobody will respond to it, and then we'll basically tell you, bro, it's so reminiscent of that angle, bro.
Yeah, very true. Awesome Sauce, $2.20. Member Dexter Lumis.
Yeah.
Those 7 months of TV paid off. Yeah, by him coming straight into this reformation of NXT. And
meanwhile, Chris, I don't watch NXT. I have no idea who this girl is. I have no idea of the backstory. Yeah. So I'm watching something I totally don't understand because I don't watch NXT.
Yep. And 2/3 of people agree with you. They don't watch NXT either. Corey Jackson, $4.99. Why would a SmackDown star win the World Heavyweight title that's meant for all? Yeah, it was very confusing when Triple H made the announcement that they were going to have people from SmackDown be a part of this tournament. So essentially, I guess what's going to happen is if a SmackDown person wins, the SmackDown star after the draft will automatically be drafted to Raw. And so it's just confusing, man. It's just super confusing. Let's see here. I think that's all the super chats for Neil. So thank you all. All right, so let's go to Finn Balor defeating Cody Rhodes in the Miz World Heavyweight Championship first round. I do want to ask you this. So Brock Lesnar attacks Cody during the match, issues a challenge at Night of Champions. Was it just me, or did you notice just like a ridiculous amount of piped in booze here?
Bro, listen, I got in so much trouble with the Dom stuff. I don't want to talk about piped in booze anymore. I could tell you this, guys. You think I don't know what I'm talking about. And bro, my wife happened to come down during this segment.
Mhm.
And my wife pointed this out. When Trish Stratus is cutting her promo, bro, there's nobody reacting behind her.
I've got piped in
Now,
booze written down on
now,
that one
what?
too.
Now, and bro, my wife
Yep.
said,
Yep.
look at the people behind her.
Yep.
They look like they don't care.
Yep.
Oh, bro, but then we hear she's getting booed out. So you guys think I don't know what I'm talking about. You guys took that where I said, bro, they really amped up the heat with Dominic like that was a shot at Dominic. That's how you got, even Disco took it that way. No, bro, it had nothing to do with Dominic. My point was they are trying to position Dominic as having all this heat when they're sweetening the heat, just like they absolutely did in Trish's promo. And you're saying they did it again here, bro?
It was the same way, Vince. Like the same thing. I noticed the same thing with Trish and Brock Lesnar. I can't. I tell you this all the time, Vince. I look at the crowd to see how they're reacting, and when Brock was cutting his promo, on Cody, and then when Trish was cutting her promo, it was like people were just nothing. I mean, they just they weren't showing anything, and that's the reason why I think they purposely didn't really cut and pan out in the crowd, because it was nothing. There was no reaction there, and it was just piped in booze. And I was looking around, I was like, where are these boos coming from? Because I don't even see any gestures of booing at this point.
I'm telling you, bro.
both of them.
Bro, when during the pandemic, they created, I think it was during the pandemic, a brand new Titantron, and it was bigger and it was huge. And one of the things about that Titantron, bro, we talked about it years ago, was the ability to pipe in crowd noise. We talked about it 2-3 years ago, guys.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Got Ty $2 super chat. No. Gunther on honeymoon. Yes, he did recently get married. And Logan and Jake Paul's PC. So sure, congrats to Gunther, but at the same time, they didn't have to use Kaiser and Vinci to basically prep Gunther just for the sake of losing their match. How does that help Imperium as a whole? It makes it feel like, again, there's a 500,000, like, at the same time, there's people who watch SmackDown who understands Raw, but not you can't assume that everybody who watched Raw watches SmackDown either. And so if there's certain, I mean, you, for instance, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so, like, people who don't really know much about Imperium, like, it doesn't really set up a really dominant faction.
Yep.
If you're setting up Gunther to make it seem like he's hanging around a bunch of losers, because that's essentially what you did tonight.
And bro, does that story not sound familiar with Roman Reigns and the Usos? Like they're serious, bro. It's the same exact story, bro.
Yeah. Yes.
And even Sami Zayn said it in the promo. Why does there, or Kevin? Why does everybody have their You tell them, because they can't come up with anything else. That's why, bro.
Right. Next we get Rhea Ripley defeating Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke, man, what'd you think about this?
What's the thing? I just don't understand. Like, I'm like, okay, bro. So Natalia's gonna come out. Like, okay, bro. Like, we're gonna put Natalya over Rhea Ripley. That's the direction we're going in. Yeah. But she comes down to the ring. What's that?
It heals, by the way.
It heals, but exactly, bro. We're gonna fight Rhea Ripley in 12-inch heels. Yeah. Okay, I got that.
That was what I got from this. I'm like, okay, first of all, you're making, like, Rhea Ripley's supposed to be one of the most dominant women, on the roster, and she's beating up Dana Brooke. And so all of a sudden, Natalia's music comes. She's not scared because she doesn't let go of the hose. She doesn't do the whole, chicken crap heel, like back up, which I think was a good idea. But what does make her back up though is she walks in the ring with the heels and she just stares her down. And she's like, okay, well, that's enough for me. I'll go ahead and back up then. This made absolutely no sense. And I'm like, okay, first of all, you're in heels. So Rhea Ripley can eat you alive at this point.
And bro, it absolutely made no sense, because how long has Natalya been in the business? When you go out there, taking off your heels is going to get you a pop. Correct. How many times, bro, have we seen, kick, what, female wrestlers hit the ring and take their heels off on the way to the cup, flying down the ramp? We've seen it a million times. You're going to get a pop just by taking the heels off.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It just, and what makes, and respectfully, I mean, kudos to her for being a part of the business. I appreciate that. But respectfully, what makes Natalya a viable contender right now for the SmackDown Women's Championship on Raw? Like, what do you think, Vince? What makes her
nothing? Rhea Ripley needs an opponent. That's it. That's what I'm saying, bro.
And how does that help the title, though?
It doesn't. But the same people watching this show every week will watch it regardless of who Rhea Ripley's opponent is. It doesn't matter, bro. You could have put Zoe Stark. Put Zoe Stark in that role. It doesn't matter, bro.
Yeah. Indeed. Rollins is in the building, $9.99. This lends credence to Vince's claim that the production is piping out audio. Fans in unison chanted Becky, but when she attacks Trish, the audience in the background were just lifelessly staring. Yeah. And the thing is, they can't even avoid it, because at the end of the day, unless you're blurring out the crowd behind you, that camera shot during the promos and you're at least going to see the beginning, because that's the thing. You're going to see the lighting. You're going to see the front rows of the crowd. You're going to see the front few rows. So that shows a big part of the crowd and their reactions. And so if the first few rows aren't reaction, that's indicative to the crowd as a whole. And if the crowd was reacting, guess what? You would show the crowd reacting, but it goes to show they're not reacting.
Bro, you gotta throw on your psychology hat again, because I'm not understanding this. I'm assuming, bro. I am assuming if you go to a WWE show, Raw or SmackDown, I'm assuming you're a WWE fan.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm assuming.
Unless you're a child or something like that.
Yeah, right. I'm assuming if Chris goes to an Ohio State game, he's cheering like a lunatic. He's so into it and so invested, offense, defense, and he's reacting to everything. These people are not reacting. I don't understand. Bro, I don't get it. I don't understand it.
I've been to Ohio State games. At least there's suspense to react to the high spot. You know what I mean? The first down, the interceptions, the fumbles, and things like that. And the thing is, they don't really have any high spots to react to. It's just the same type of matches, and it looks the same. So it's like if every down was like a 1st and 3, watching the Ohio State game over and over and over and over again, there won't be any of the ebbs and flows that comes with sports and sports entertainment. But it's the same types of matches, and it's no storytelling. There's no ebbs and flows. Just about everything just is match. Yeah. And so those are the elements that we're missing. I mean, it's again I say, and we saw it today, the Puerto Rican crowd was an anomaly. It really was an anomaly to the product that we see as a whole. I'm sure that AEW, when they go to Wembley, the Wembley crowds is probably going to be hot too, because those are markets that don't really get live events much. Yeah. And so you're having people come. I mean, again, like to me, it reminds me of like if a big name, like Ohio State, if they're playing like Appalachian State or something like that, right? So Appalachian State doesn't have huge crowds. But at the same time, you bet your bottom dollar that more people are going to be coming to that Appalachian State Ohio State game as opposed to another Appalachian State game. And they're going to be excited, and they're going to have the reaction, and they're going to be really, really happy. They don't care if Appalachian State, and they probably know that Appalachian State is probably going to get killed, but they're still there for the experience. Right. And that's what the Puerto Rican crowd, the Wembley crowd, and those markets are going to do. That's not a good litmus test on the product. That doesn't say that the product's good. It just goes to show that the market is virtually untapped for a while, and they're excited to be there. So I think that's really important for us to notice when it comes to this past weekend.
Yeah.
Let's go next to the backstage interview of Zoe Stark challenges Nikki Cross to a match, and then we get into Sammy and Kevin Owens defeating Kaiser and Vinci. We've talked about that more. We've talked about that before. Do you have anything else on that? The tag?
Yeah, I have this about that, bro. I'm sorry, man. When I watch television, I want to see television stars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bro. One of my favorite shows on is The Blacklist. And bro, after every episode, I am shaking my head of just what an actor James Spader is. Not everybody can do that, bro. You're watching a guy that for 50 years of his life, he was learning the trade, and you just watch him now and you just shake your head that somebody's that good. That's what I want out of television. That's what I want out of TV. Okay. When you watch Bryan Cranston in anything, okay, bro, I'm watching Zoe Stark. I've never seen Zoe Stark before. You know what I'm seeing, bro?
What's up?
Another Dakota Kai. Who's Dakota Kai's partner whose name I don't even know?
Io Sky.
Another Io Sky. Bro, these are people that they are creating in a factory.
Yeah.
Okay. And one comes out right after the other. And they're mediocre at best, bro. They're mediocre. I mean, this Zoe Stark is a star. And then they're trying to tell a story of, oh, bro, she watches tape and who cares, bro? I want to see a star. Okay, you think I can? You think I can if the Ultimate Warrior watched tape, bro? You think you had to say the Ultimate Warrior watched tape and that's how it got him over, for crying out loud?
Yeah,
come on, man. They're all out of this factory and they all look the same and they're all mid-carders and nobody's over, bro.
Coco Beware watches tape. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly. Hillbilly Jim.
Yeah.
Put anybody in there, bro. Really, bro?
He watches tape. Yeah,
that's why they're over with me, because they watch tape.
Yeah.
Okay, bro. Zoe's over with me because she watches tape.
Coco Beware and Hillbilly Jim are both Hall of Famers because they watch tape.
Oh my gosh, bro. Like what is different from this girl than every other girl they're parading out there? The fairy princess. I can't even remember what's her name.
Candice LeRae.
Candice LeRae. What's the difference between Candice LeRae and Zoe Stark? What is the difference?
They're both NXT call-ups. That's, if you think of it from a backstage standpoint, it's probably Triple H saying, atta girl, good job. We're going to call you to the main roster. So they're probably super happy because they have that main roster. But at the same time, it means nothing to the crowd if they're not being booked accordingly.
And you're setting the precedent, which is the biggest problem in the industry today. Anybody can become a professional wrestler. Not anybody could play in the NFL, Chris.
That's true.
Not anybody could play in the NBA. Not anybody can star in major motion pictures.
Yeah.
But anybody can be a professional wrestler, bro. Anybody. And that's the environment that they created, bro. Anybody. You don't have to be a star. You don't even have to be above average. You can be average and be a professional wrestler, bro.
Yeah.
And that Chris, I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's sickening to me. That is sickening to me because back in the day, bro. Here's the old man yelling at the clouds. In order to go to the WWF, you had to be a superstar.
Sure.
Now your next door neighbor, yeah, bro, they got a training facility in Florida. You go down there and you train, you kiss Shawn Michaels, bro, the guy with the funny eye and the other guy with the big nose and the Sharpay forehead. Bro, kiss their ass. You'll be on TV in 6 months. It's an embarrassment, Chris. It's literally an embarrassment. And that's the one thing you talk about disappointing. That to me is more disappointing than anything else. And I'm not one of the boys.
Yeah.
I'm not. If I was one of the boys, oh my, I would be so disgusted at this point that it's not even funny.
Yeah. And I think Zoe Stark as a competitor is good, but at the same time, what does that mean if there's no character development with her? That's like saying Batman can fight, you know, and it's like saying Clark Kent or Bruce Banner can fight. You know what I mean? Like, okay,
they didn't watch tape though.
That's it, man. That's what makes it. They didn't watch tape, man.
Hulk, the Incredible Hulk didn't watch.
Yeah,
tape.
Yeah, he didn't watch tape, man. He didn't watch tape. Bruce Banner, Clark Kent, they can fight. No. Batman, Superman, Incredible Hulk, like those are the people that I'm buying into. Not Clark Kent, not Bruce Banner. You know what I mean? Like that's the big thing, and that's the really really big thing when it comes to pro wrestling. We don't care about a Zoe Stark for Zoe Stark's sake. We care about a Zoe Stark because she has a character. If she doesn't have a character, you might as well bring out Clark Kent out there to try to fight some foes because you look like everybody else. You don't look bigger. Your character doesn't shine. And Jacksonville showed that. I mean, that's the thing. They showed that when she was doing, again, I look at crowds all the time, and when she did her little thing on the top and things like that, it was nothing. I mean, no one had any type of reaction to her. And I'm just like, what does this do? Are you just going to be going against different wrestlers every week until and hoping that it sticks? Or are you really going to create a character for Zoe Stark that 2/3 of the crowd don't know who she is? And we saw it tonight when she came out. We got a couple super chats. Let's see here. Let's start off with Nacier once again, $4.99. Wonder if Dominic Mysterio heat is going to die down because he no longer has Ray to lay on. Good question. What do you think about that?
I think they'll probably still keep that alive to some extent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah, you always got to remind people of his deadbeat dad. You know, I mean, so I'm sure they'll keep that alive to some extent.
Yeah, I think it's it's one of those things that once the crowd realize that they're making an impact and a statement, they just kind of go with it, and that's just how the cultish crowd is when it comes to pro wrestling. That's the reason why Seth Rollins has his music, his battle hymn and things like that. Once it's like that unwritten rule of the crowd just kind of nodding at each other saying, yeah, let's just go.
Oh, it's the dog. What was the dog? Pavlovian's dog.
Pavlovian, yeah,
that's what they are. I mean, that's exactly. We're gonna play this music, and we're gonna play it enough to the point that you're gonna eventually sing to it. That's exactly what they are, bro.
Conditioning 101, man.
Yes.
We got Rollins, $4.99. What are your thoughts on Puerto Rico booing Bianca Belair? The crowd treated Io Sky like Hulk Hogan in the 80s. Belair took it well.
What now? Why did that crowd cheer for Io Sky?
There's a couple of kind of theories. Puerto Rican has a Japanese influence, as far as just Japan wrestling. And so maybe, because she's a Japanese wrestler, that helped. When I noticed in the beginning, she was getting some cheers. Bianca was getting some cheers. It basically what I saw when I watched it, it was more of the storytelling really positioned Bianca to be the heel, because Io was the underdog in all this. It was like she was smaller in stature, she was the athletic one. Bianca was more the strong person, and so I think because Puerto Rican crowd was so hot, and Io was really pegged to be to look like the baby face in all this. I think it was an easy turn, for the crowd to really rally behind her. That's what
And
I
plus
saw.
the fact, I mean, they didn't really get any heat on her going into the story.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, they did the opposite because it became more of a respect factor because she was kind of going away from Bailey and Dakota Kai. She was kind of like feeling like, okay, I might be stuck here. Even Bianca was kind of was putting some seeds in her ear as far as like, hey, you can shine without them, and they were having that moment. So she's kind of turning slowly anyways. So the Puerto Rican crowd was like, oh, okay, sure, let's just rally behind her
Yeah.
because the thing is, I think I've told you this before. Io, when she was Io Shirai, she was a baby face for a while. I mean, she was a pretty good baby face. She played that underdog role. She was very athletic, and she was just a likable person. She still is. She looks like a likable person. She doesn't to me, when she came in there, it just didn't fit to me. Like it just, she looks likable. She doesn't do heelish stuff, and it just didn't make sense for her to be thrown in there with the heels to me.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's my assessment on it. I could be wrong, but that's what I saw from seeing it. Let's see here. I think that's all as far as super chats for now. Next we have what we got. We got the backstage. The Sign of the Villain Chelsea try to acquire signatures, and then they talk to Gargano, LeRae, Indy Hartwell, and Dexter Lumis.
Bro, can you imagine these guys, LaRue and the Gargano? They just had a baby, right?
Yeah.
Bro, can you imagine leaving home for that spot?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? Like, bro, that's all they did, bro. They flew, they overnight, hotels, leaving the kid, babysitters with the kid. They get to Raw, and that's what you're doing on the show. Now you got to go back to the hotel, back 6 o'clock in the morning to the airport, back for that.
Yeah.
And what did that do? Like, what did that spot do?
I guess they're thinking in their head, let's just go and do our job to collect the paycheck to take care of the family. I think a lot of the Raw roster, I think a lot of the roster period have that mindset. I mean, because if you think about the people who are just grossly misused, like an Elias, for instance, right? Like he's probably just like, hey, look, I'm a single man and just kind of out here living it up, and just give me my check, and I'll see you next week. I'll be in another segment with Rick Boogs. I'll be a free agent because I'm just as good as Brock Lesnar, ladies and gentlemen. Essentially, that's what happened.
Yeah, right.
Next, we have the Trish Stratus. Oh, Xavier Woods and Kira Tozawa, the whole backstage thing with them. Yeah. Then we get Trish Stratus cutting an in-ring promo. What do you think about this as far as Trish Stratus doing the whole missing thing? This calls Bianca Belair. I mean, not Bianca Belair, but Becky Lynch to actually come out after the fake music. The real music comes out. Becky Lynch clocks Trish and kind of gets some come up.
This is what I love, bro. Like, this is like, again, bro, this stuff would have never happened between Ed Ferrar and myself. So Becky comes out, gets a little heat. Trish powders, and the imaginary, wall of China surrounding the ring keeps Becky from going after. Ed and I would simply look at each other and say, why wouldn't Becky go after Trish? If I said that to Ed, and Ed would say, she would go after
Yeah.
Trish.
Yeah.
So then Becky would go after Trish. She'd get heat on Trish in the aisle. And whether we got to sell agents or refs to pull it apart, why would Becky stand in the ring yelling at Trish to come in the ring, come in the ring, come in the ring, rather than go and get her on the out? That's the lazy wrestling BS crap that I can't stand, bro.
Yeah. Do you think this is leading to Saudi? Because they were talking about Trish and Becky potentially being SummerSlam, but that's another 3 months away.
Oh my God, man.
So does this? I mean, is the missing thing that led Becky to come tonight? Is this for Saudi?
When is that?
The last Saturday of the month of this month.
I would have to think so, bro. I cannot see this going to SummerSlam, bro.
3 months,
Seriously,
man. We're gonna get 3 more months of this, Vince.
Oh my God, bro! Please.
I the only way I think that this can get 3 more months, which I don't even want to see 3 more days of. I don't even see 3 more minutes of this. I think that if Trish beats Becky at Saudi, somehow she brags about it, and you can easily do disheveled Becky. She feels bad about losing against Trish, and Trish just kind of brings just kind of continues to hype it and just insult to injury type of deal, and then maybe Becky comes back and does it that way.
Bro, if they don't care about this now, you think they're going to care about it 3 months from now?
That's my thing, Vince. Do you really think this is going to stretch to SummerSlam? If you just a booking, just off the cuff, if you were commissioned to have an assignment to say, okay, Vince, all right, we kind of backed ourselves into a corner here. We need to stretch this out to SummerSlam. So if you got 3 months,
bro, if you're gonna stretch this out to SummerSlam, here's the first thing you're gonna do. The first thing Trish is gonna do, which they didn't do, is she's gonna hurt Becky.
Yeah.
And Becky's really going to be out with an injury. Okay. At what point, bro? Now you have Lita step in. Now you let Trish get some heat on Lita. Do that for a while, bro, before Becky even comes back. You want to drag this thing out. That's what was needed to do. Lita was a part of this, bro. She was Becky's partner. They lost the belt because of Trish. Let her really hurt Becky. Let Lita show up. Get the heat on Lita. Then maybe you bring Becky back in 4 to 6 weeks. At least now we've got some legs on this thing.
Yeah.
But the way they're doing it.
Yeah. Trish admitted that she was the one who attacked Lita. So, I mean, that just makes sense that Lita would try to come back and get some type of retribution to her. Yeah.
Yep.
And then if Trish beats Lita, then Becky and Lita were champs. So you can easily have Trish beat Lita, beat up on Lita, and then that can cause, Becky to come back to save Lita, so to speak. You know what I mean? So that can do it. And so, I think that there's ways to get around this if you want to stretch it, but so far, man, it's been a buzz. It's just been a buzzkill, man.
Yeah.
Johnny Slice, $10 super chat. Hey, fellas, would have commented earlier, but I randomly ran into someone in my hallway, so naturally we had to challenge each other. So, Matt, it was, of course, a 5-star barn burner, but I'm here now.
Very nice.
Johnny's here with this Johnny Slice.
Johnny's got a great sense of humor. Very nice, Johnny. Very nice.
Very slapsticky. I like this guy, man. I like this guy. Awesome sauce, $2.20. I like these one-liners tonight.
Yeah,
the only thing Trish was missing was her heat. Yes, indeed.
We need the bump after every one of these.
Yes. I have that for I have that in my other set of sounds, but I don't have it on my actual deck. So I might get that soon, and because all these one-liners, man, I like it. I might have to put that on my deck. All right, let's see here. We have Dominic Mysterio defeating Xavier Woods. This was pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you know that was going to happen, right? Is this getting heat on Dominic? What is this doing? What's the point? Who's over here?
I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know.
In this year, speaking of over.
Now, bro, see, here's the problem. If I am writing, I am looking at the presentation of these three guys. Bro, these three guys could really be a threat.
Yeah.
They are three big dudes, bro. They can really be a threat. But you know they're going to kill it in a month. You know, in 4 weeks, this thing will be dead. That's what I don't understand, bro. Mm-hmm. You got three guys together that look very, very, very impressive. Why can't they be a threat?
Here's a question for you, Vince. And I talked about this on Pancakes and Power Slams. I think this is an interesting topic. Do you think that the WWE should debut a trios championship?
I don't think so, man. How many belts, bro, are we gonna have?
Yeah, I think they should, man. Like you have 100 people on the roster.
Yeah, that's true too, Chris.
I mean, like, what's the buy-in in these matches? There's nothing. Like you're having matches just to have matches. You can't even really create storylines, so there's no incentive to it.
People are running into each other.
I mean, hey, the hallway law, the hallway effects. I mean, that's the thing now.
I hear you. I hear you.
You know, people saying I don't think that there's enough belts. I mean, because if you're having a bloated roster, you're just going to have a bunch of people just match after match on Raw for nothing.
Right.
And so at least make it count to something. Yeah. You have like an Indus Shear that's going to do what? I mean, like, what are they? They're probably going to beef up Seth or something like that. Like they're going to make Seth look better or make Cody look better. Like they're not going to be for nothing. And so if they were trios championships, at least they're being promoted as a trio.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be in the tag team hunt because that's going to leave somebody out. Yeah. If Jinder is left out with, the other two being champions, what is he going to do? Just be their spokesperson? I think people like them, people like Imperium, there's a lot of trios that can be worked on. OC, for instance, AJ and the Luke Anderson and Gallows. There's at least 8 trios teams now that they can really make something make sense for me. Like I'm here because I'm a trio. We're a trio. We want to be champions. That's our goal. I mean, can everybody be world champion? And that's okay. But now at least make it make sense by having the trios championship.
Yeah, I could see that, bro. I could see that now that you laid it out that way.
Indeed. Next we have The Miz and Shinsuke Nakamura doing a backstage thing. They've already relegated Shinsuke Nakamura to some hokey backstage thing with The Miz, and next week they'll be going against each other. Are you excited about this segment, Vince?
What's next, bro? Liv and Rackle against Chelsea.
What before we go there, do you think Shinsuke is already DOA by coming on Raw?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
Oh, so sad, man. Very sad. Chelsea Green and Cyan DeVille ask for more signatures. Then they get confronted by Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan.
Bro, I don't know what it is, Chris. Bro, it seems like there are more people on this show than ever.
Yeah,
bro,
they
did like back. Here's the interesting thing, bro. I swear it was during this time too, bro. They did like back to back pre-tapes in the back, and not one of the characters got over.
None.
Not one. Defining no characters, telling no stories, just talking.
Yeah. What are these interviews doing though?
All these backstage
interviews.
What is it?
Man. Why? What does it even mean? It's just they're just time wasters at this point.
Yep.
Joseph Gonzalez back in the building. $4.99, as we have seen with AEW having a trios division, makes the tag team division pointless. What would a tag match do that a trios can't do better? See, here's my thing with this. Again, if you're having all of these people, make it make sense. Use them. Use them, because essentially, why am I here if I'm not vying for something? Like, characters, like people in the professional wrestling, are vying for a prize. They're not just having matches against each other, until they retire. They're vying for a prize. And so if you have all these trios being promoted as trios, there should be a trios championship, because we're a trio. That's who we are. And
Yeah.
so I think if you're just having match for match sake, and I think the trios championship can help them with incentivizing something and making something worth something. Because at least you can have, with these trios, you can have tournament, you can have a trio looking good, like in this year, for instance. If there's a newly minted trios championship, someone like an Indus-Sheer, that would automatically catapult them to look relevant, as opposed to, now we know that there's not a tag team, relevant right now that looks big enough to go against Owens and Zayn. They're not going to hot shot in the sheer, and if they do try to hot shot them, they'll lose within weeks, just like they do all the time. And again, there's going to be an odd man out of all these trios. Like, for instance, with the OC, there's AJ is he's the bigger one out of the bunch, but at the same time, AJ's he's been booked so poorly over the past couple of years that he doesn't look big. So I think a trios division would help someone like an AJ Styles still look relevant and still have a championship.
Yeah. They wouldn't do it, bro, just for the fact that it would look like they're ripping off AEW. That's why they'll never do it.
And I can see that, but my problem is the trios championship isn't an AEW concept. That's not, it was in Mexico for a while.
Yeah, but people wouldn't know that.
Yeah,
Normal people wouldn't know.
And that makes sense. But at the same time, I think if you're ripping off, if you're ripping off AEW, if you're not doing it just to rip off AEW, you have a bunch of people and factions right now who are just going to remain lost. LWO, for instance, right? They're a lost faction that since their inception. Judgment Day, for instance, you've had all these types of iterations of Judgment Day, and this person kind of do a singles thing here, and then they kind of tag this person, and they tag these type of people. You're having these iterations, but if you think about the Judgment Day, with the exception of Rhea Ripley, the Judgment Day don't win much. They sometimes as a faction, but these individual things, we saw Damian Priest and Finn Balor lost ultimately today. Dominic has heat, but he's lost against Rey Mysterio. Like, they don't win singles matches. As a trio, if they were carrying championships as a trio, I'm for it. I mean, I think it helps them look bigger. You know what I mean? So otherwise, again, they'll just be there.
Bro, they need to. They listen, bro. With the people I saw on this show today, they need to cut this roster in half, bro.
And that's, man,
it's too much, man. It is too much, and so many people mean nothing, man.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. And again, man, it's just I even mentioned this, on my show last week. I wouldn't even be mad if they had like a junior heavyweight championship, not necessarily a lightweight, because it feels like less, or cruiserweight. It doesn't feel bigger. But if they had like a junior heavyweight division, and I would be totally for someone like a Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah.
I'd be totally for him winning the junior heavyweight, like 225 or less, or 230 or less, or something like that. I personally think they need a couple more belts to make this bloated roster vie for something. The 24 championship was DOA. It was a joke championship from the very beginning. I love R-Truth, but it was a joke championship from the very beginning. So having the 24/7 championship meant nothing, right? But if they have like a junior heavyweight championship and a trios championship, at least that's 4 more people on this bloated roster that's going to feel more important than what they did before, right? So that's just that's my logic behind it. And I think if Dominic had like a junior heavyweight championship, people would like, and he's carrying it around or wearing it, man, that would just ramp his heat up even more because people
Yeah.
would want a baby face to dethrone him. So
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
be for it. Next we have Cody Rhodes cutting a backstage interview. Your thoughts, man? Lots of Cody talk today.
Accepting the challenge, like what's he not going to accept
Yeah,
it? Like,
exactly.
you know, yeah, bro, this is just eating time.
Yeah.
They're just eating minutes at this point.
Yeah, man. Someone says they already tried a light heavyweight division, but that's when the roster was 3 times as less as it is now. You know what I mean? So either you cut the roster at least in half, which to me, I'm thinking in my head, like, I mean, I don't want people to lose their jobs. You know what I mean? Like, people have to make families. You know, they're getting decent pay being a WWE wrestler. I think it's WWE's fault that they're bringing in so many people and not doing anything with them. You're hemorrhaging funds at this point. What are you doing? And I think to make people make sense, or at least have some type of relevance on the card, you know, bring in a couple more belts, man. Seth Rollins defeating Finn Balor is the closure of the evening. Your thoughts on this, Vince?
Bro, again, man, it's just bro, I don't know. I swear, bro, seriously, there is definitely a clause in Brock Lesnar's contract that he's got to get a flight out that night. There is definitely a clause, because the fact, bro, that they don't save stuff for the end with Brock, and they always shoot it within the first hour of the show, and then he's gone. I swear, bro, part of his contract has to be, I am in and out in the same day. And I don't know why you would give somebody a contract like that. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, bro, because the fact that you can't build these shows around Brock with a beginning, a middle, and a cliffhanger at the end, the fact that you can't do that, what good is it to me, man?
True.
But I'm telling you, bro, there is no doubt his contract is, I come in on a Monday and I leave on a Monday.
Yeah.
And that kills this entire show.
It does, man. It does. But they know that Brock is the person that they're banking on.
Yeah,
you know?
but he wasn't always the person they were banking on, bro. Go back to the very, very beginning when he came in. That's how this thing should have been set up and structured. If Vince McMahon would have said to me, hey, Vince, listen, bro, we gave Rock a new contract, man, and he's got to come in and out the same day, so you're going to have to use him in the first hour of the show, I would have looked at Vince and said, are you absolutely nuts? Are you out of your mind?
Because that's because you had stars built. That's because you had people who were as big, who looked as big as Brock Lesnar. You know, even if Brock Lesnar was in your era from 97, 99, okay, cool. He won't be, he basically wouldn't be given carte blanche, like he is now. He's given carte blanche now because he's the biggest star of the company, and he draws ratings, and no one else is being built except for Reigns to an extent. No one else is being built on a Brock Lesnar level, so he can just come in and go whatever he does, because they don't have that type of star power now.
Yeah.
Rollins $9.99. It does look like anybody off the street can be a pro wrestler. Bianca and Bayley once had a segment. They competed against each other in basketball. Bianca took 2 dribbles, and you can tell that she sucks. I remember that segment. Yeah. Very, very, very true. And segments like that, to me, was just, again, it just doesn't make sense to me, man. The emphasis of building stars, man, has really drifted, Vince. Why do you think that's the case? Is it because they're already signing contracts and they got the money in the bank?
Wait, say that again. What was it? What'd you say originally?
The star power, the quest.
Nobody's going to be bigger than the company.
Yeah.
That's it. Nobody is going to hold the cards anymore. But them Triple H made that clear, bro. He made that clear years ago, and they have lived up to that 100%. And I'll say then what I said now. Here's the problem with that theory, Trips. Okay, as a television viewer, I want to see television stars.
Yeah.
I don't want to see mediocrity. I want if you're on television, I'm used to people on television being special.
Yeah.
And bro, even when there were reality shows, like take Jersey Shore, for instance, they made stars out of those people, bro. Writers made stars out of those people.
Yeah.
So you're giving me a television show with no television stars, mediocre actors, and as a television viewer, I am not interested. So they lived up, bro, to exactly what they said they were going to do.
Indeed. Johnny Slice, $5 super chat. Don't think they need more titles. They need more stories and more captivating personalities. I agree with that. Rick Rude and Snake didn't need a belt, need stuff like that. I agree with that. The only thing is, I think that Roberts was snuffed of not getting a belt. At the end of the day, he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best characters in the world. But just to say that he's never been any champion in WWE, I definitely think he got snuffed for that. And I also would say again, it goes back to my point of the roster was not bloated back then. And so, like, that's my biggest thing. You're bringing all these people. Either you cut half the roster and make people relevant with the television time that you have, or you just have a bunch of people with this draft that made no sense because just about everybody who got drafted from SmackDown lost today. And then you're doing vignettes about Indus Sher, which where's that going to go in a few weeks? Just like Veer Mahan getting 6 months of promos just to have a few weeks of, beating up job guys and fall into obscurity. There's no continuity. There's no dedication and commitment to developing characters. And so my thing is, I think a title, I'm a big fan of the person, the person makes the title, not the title makes the person. But I will say that someone like an Indus Sher being trios champion would make them look immediately big and relevant as opposed to anyone else. So unless you get rid of unless you cut this roster, there's got to be something.
It's like it's like my wife, bro. Like just walking in and seeing a television show, bro. Obviously, my wife. I've been married for 40 years, bro. So obviously, she's been around and seen a lot as it pertains to wrestling. Bro, my wife comes down here and sits on the couch for 15 minutes. She's seeing normal people. Those are normal. Candice LaRue, Johnny Gargano, the girl with Dexter. These are normal people. They're not stars, bro. And somehow, some way, they're on television. But bro, just because you're on television does not make you a star, bro. You know what it makes you? It makes you look like you don't belong. Yeah. That's what it makes you look like, bro. It makes you look like an amateur. That's what you look like, bro.
Indeed. On that note, this guy right here is not an amateur. He is the former world heavyweight champion.
What's my record again?
I know that you are undefeated in singles competition.
Yeah.
And I will get it here. And
I think there was one blemish on my record because
you got two ties.
And David Flair. There was a blemish on my record because of David Flair.
Vince Russo is, you ready?
Yes.
Your total win-loss record is 7 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws.
The loss is a tag match.
The loss is a tag match. The loss is a tag match. Yes, indeed. And it goes to show, man, this guy right here, undefeated in singles competition. And actually, your last recorded match, October 1st, 2003, your last match was your loss. You didn't lose until your final match of your career, man.
What was that match? Do you know?
You and AJ losing to Dusty Rhodes and Jeff Jarrett. That was TNA. That was TNA Weekly Pay-Per-View number 63 on October 1st.
And I'm sure AJ took the Duke, took the loss. AJ,
man, it's been almost 20 years since you competed in a match. Could we see, out of 20 years, on October 1st of 2023,
bro,
Vince come back?
I could step out of retirement tomorrow and beat Johnny Gargano in a match without training, without doing anything. Next week, I could beat Johnny Gargano in a match. No doubt in my mind.
So when is October 1st? What day is October 1st? October 1st is a Sunday. All right. So Sunday, October 1st, 2023, Vince Russo is stepping out of retirement to compete against Johnny Gargano in a hallway on a pole match. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
As a matter of fact, I may handicap me against Gargano and Ali.
Whoa, you get big up in these streets. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Handicap, man.
No doubt, bro.
Ali. Yeah. Okay. All right, man. Well, I think that's I think we need to consult with someone before.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Vince Russo, you want to go against Ali and Johnny Gargano in a handicap match. The Black Scorpion approves. The Black Scorpion will be the special guest referee.
Yes.
Wow,
that's
man.
Money, bro.
Talk
that's
about
money.
ratings.
That's money, man. That is money, man.
Man, let them know about the brand, my man.
Guys, please check it out, man. Russo'sBrand.com. You want the truth, man? You want shows like this? You want to hear it how it is, bro? No lollipopping, bro. Go to Russo'sBrand.com, man.
Yes, indeed. This guy right here, Vince Russo. I'm Dr. Chris. This is the Legion of Raw. Have a good night, everybody. Solo.